So this is the third video I'm doing on this. The first one explains it, but basically it's going to seem like an absurdly low number of reps, but every fifth day it adds. And at the end of 4 months, you will not believe how many reps you're built up to. This is how I rehabbed myself when I broke my ankle. Unfortunately now, I think I broke my foot again. And if I'm doing this with a broken foot, I got a bone sticking out of the middle top part of my foot. I don't know if it's a dislocation or what, but if I'm doing this with that, come back from torn rotator cuff, y'all be all right too. Now, somebody had mentioned something about, I think it was a woman who's mentioned something about the push-ups. You can do push-ups if you put a pillow on the ground and put your knees on them and do push-ups like that. That's a way to do it until you can build up. When I was in jail for the year that I was in there, I couldn't do 2 pull-ups. But we did the pull-ups on the stairs. I would hook my feet into the stairs, so then I was almost at this type of an angle, and it was kind of like rows. And I did that for a few months. Then I could do a few pull-ups, and from there I built up. So it's kind of the same principle. You know, if you put your knees on the ground and do push-ups like that, then it'll build to the regular ones and everything else. But in terms of nutrition, you know, a lot of the stuff I'm going to say, a lot of people aren't going to like to hear. Bread, no good. Basically, I eat oatmeal, rice, and I measure it. So a lot of the sugars and stuff like that, obviously that's no good. But oatmeal, everything, I measure dry. So a half cup dry is a serving. It's like 36 grams of carbs. Eat about 6 or 7 meals a day. And 7 meals with just a half cup of dry rice that's cooked, or a full cup cooked of instant rice that's easy to make quick, ends up being a little over 200 grams of carbs a day. So with that, you'll keep lean. You know, if you're wanting to build and not, if you're wanting to bulk up, you know, you eat more than that and everything else. But if you're just trying to, you know, get fit, build muscle, but stay lean, that's the way to do it. It's what I did when I was in prison. There was a guy with multiple degrees that wrote my meal plan. And I would eat oatmeal for breakfast, and rice, and usually refried beans, instant refried beans mixed during that time. But, you know, it's surprising the amount of calories that it takes to get you full versus the one, like, okay, there's certain foods, like if you drink, a lot of the energy drinks have like 300 or 400 calories. For like 400 calories, that's the equivalent of like literally a half pound of chicken. You could eat a half pound of chicken and be full as can be for the same amount of calories that are in an energy drink. So there's certain foods you can eat that you'll be so full that you feel like you could throw up. You're that full. And still lose weight. You know, there are different ones that you can, there's certain things that are good, certain things that are bad. I'm not going to break it down. I'm not an expert on it. I know a little bit. I know enough that I've been able to make this work for myself, cutting weight for jiu-jitsu competitions and then just, you know, powerlifting and all that. I learned from people that have degrees in prison, you know. The guy who wrote my meal plans taught me a lot of this. He had multiple degrees. Him, a doctor, and a pharmacist decided, or no, a lawyer and a pharmacist decided they were going to start robbing pharmacies because nobody believed it because they were upstanding members of the community. Apparently they did believe it. He went to prison. He also got put in prison for selling steroids, but he knew a lot about fitness. He trained a lot of people. He's out now and he's, you know, doing the same thing. Not robbing pharmacies, but he's doing the right thing, you know, in the fitness industry. But bread, stuff like that. If I eat certain things, if I eat cereal just for like 2 or 3 days in a row, I'll bloat up 4 pounds. If you eat 6 meals a day, each about 3 hours apart, your metabolism speeds up. If you starve yourself and you step on a scale every day, you'll notice you're barely losing any weight. But when you eat every 3 hours in smaller meals, it speeds your metabolism up. And it's a whole lot easier to keep lean, build muscle like that. It suggests anywhere from 3 to 4 ounces of some sort of protein, so you're getting 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, and anywhere from, you know, 30 to 40 grams of carbs. If you're trying to lose weight and you eat 6 meals a day, and you have a dry measured cup of rice, that only equals about 180 grams of carbs. That's not a lot. It's an easy way to cut. And if you up it to like a cup and a half, that'd be a bulk. So, you know, that's just some of the general stuff on it, but obviously sugars, bread, stuff like that, stuff you don't need for the most part. I don't eat any cheese, milk, stuff like that. I bloat up. Like literally, in 3 days from now, I could bloat 5 to 8 pounds and look fat as a bullfrog just from that. By simply cutting out stuff that bloats you, that isn't good for you, you'll look like you've lost 10 pounds probably within a week. You won't. Even though the scale says you're 5 pounds lighter, you hadn't lost 5 pounds of fat. You've lost the bloat. That's a big, misconception people get. They think they're losing an incredible amount of weight that quick. But diet is the biggest part of the battle with this. If you can eat correctly while doing it, that's what's going to get you, it's going to work tremendously better. People say abs are made in the kitchen, not in a gym, and that's the truest thing. I was doing 1,000 sit-ups a day and you couldn't see my abs because I was eating too much. But got it under control, the diet, and worked a whole lot better, worked a whole lot easier. So, like I've said before, this is small reps, small stuff, building up. Getting ready to go see my aunt here in a little bit. She's in from Ohio. I haven't seen her probably in 2 or so years, so I'm trying to get this in before I roll out. But it seems like a stupid low amount of stuff to be doing right now, but it builds upon itself. And I am going to do stuff with weights and resistance bands. I use resistance bands a lot. Those shape your muscles, like, you can build bulk, but like to get like that knot on it, a lot of that's just concentration, is what I've seen. When I've tried to, sorry, I've got a lawnmower outside going, but when I lifted heavy, just like heaving up weight for curls, I didn't have much progress. When I lowered the weight, for all chest, back, legs, I do powerlifting. But for, biceps, triceps, rear delts, forearms, I do 12 to 15 rep range and close, only 1 minute rest. For powerlifting, I take like 3, 4, sometimes 5, 6 minute rest. So then I can hit the highest numbers for the most reps. But for arms, forearms, I've seen it responds a whole lot better to higher reps and shorter rest periods. And I will be doing stuff on that. But right now, this is meant for anybody. And if you can do more than this, then what you do is you take 75% of what you're capable of. 75% of the number of push-ups that you would not be able, that you'd max out at, the squats you'd max out at, or whatever. And then we'll add on it in a couple days. On the 5th day, every 5th day, it adds up. And it ends up being about 30 increases. And basically, I went from doing 20 sit-ups a day for 4 days. The next 4 days, I did 25 sit-ups twice a day for 4 days. And ultimately, in a 4-month time period, I went up to doing 1,000 sit-ups a day. I never felt like I couldn't function, like if I got in a fight out in the parking lot, I never felt like I couldn't have handled myself, like I was wrecked. That's something that I think is stupid, when you get yourself so wrecked from a workout that you're compromised physically, where you are just like walking miserable and feeling like that. Of course, that has its place for your bodybuilder and everything like that, but personally for me, if I see somebody from my past, I got smashed up out in the parking lot, and I'm wrecked like that, and I can't move like I need to move, that's a problem. That's an issue. That's something I shouldn't be doing. So, like I said, I got this bone sticking out of my foot. It's kind of freaking me out. I don't want to have surgery. Like I'm despise going to the doctor. Like it scares the piss out of me. And I want to see if it goes away. Kind of just ignore it and hope it gets better. It doesn't hurt unless you poke the bone that's sticking out of it. But if I'm in here doing this with shoulder that's just now getting better from a torn rotator cuff from getting caught in a submission called a Kimura that got cranked really hard and really quick, and a messed up foot, and I broke my ankle and leg at the same time 2 years ago, so my foot's compromised from that. That's part of the reason on my squats you'll see one of my heels up. I can't bend it right, but it doesn't keep me from doing it. I don't use it as an excuse. I'm not like, well, my ankle's messed up, I can't squat. No, I find a way to do it. Regardless of if certain things are compromised on you, you can find a way to make it work. I suggest doing sit-ups on a couch for people with bad backs. It takes all the pressure off of it. And if doing the sit-ups is an issue, anything with your back, do leg raises. There's little to no stress with leg raises. So alternatively, instead of doing sit-ups and leg raises, if you just do leg raises for the number that is you're capable of. Right now we're just doing like 10 a day. I know it seems absurdly low, but then it'll go up to 20 on day 5, then it'll go up more than it adds up. I'm telling you. This is meant so, it was originally meant for the family. My mom and dad both having injuries they're dealing with. I figured this will be a way to show them some simple, very simple starting points, but figured I'd share it with you guys too. I Spent 2 months immobile on the couch. All I could do is sit down and stand, or not sit down, sit down and lay down. And after 2 months, with the cast still on, I started doing this. And even with the boot on, I was doing squats with the boot on. And 4 months after that, I was up to the numbers that I'm going to be up to at the end of this. And 6 months after I started getting back right, I did 3 jiu-jitsu competitions in a 6-week period, each 3 weeks apart. I got double gold in the first 2, lost the third on points. So I went from being 212 pounds to under 170 fit, and a lot of that was diet and stuff like that. But I was working out obsessively in this slow build program. Of course, I'm doing weights in addition to this too, but this is just for like the most basic beginner. But this body weight stuff gives you the endurance. You can lift weights and be strong. Okay, I was strong. Lift a tremendous amount of weight, but then I went in a jiu-jitsu gym and had to do 4 rounds of sparring at the end of class, and after the round 1, my muscles were worn out. There's muscular strength, muscular endurance. If you don't have endurance in the tiny muscles that you wouldn't guess, and a lot of them aren't typical weightlifting muscles, like rear delts. Why do you think people hit a speed bag? It's the stupidest thing ever. It does nothing to help you be a better boxer. Okay, it builds your forearms and it builds your rear delts. Rear delts, I do a tremendous amount of. Most people's rear delts, if they are a weightlifter, are half the size of their front delts. Mine were when I got out of prison, but it's something I put work into, and I brought it up. Rear delts, forearms, it's things people don't work on a whole lot. And basically, with any lift, any standing lift, so much of it comes from your abs, comes from your core, and getting the sit-ups. You're gonna be up to a lot in 4 months. The plan is, so then even a beginner can be up to a tremendous amount to where you'll be extremely fit. More than 90% of people in gym, most people, they do abs once a week, and it's a few sets of 25 and stuff like that. This slow build, it works. It's something I believe in. But anyway, I'm getting back in shape too. I done got fat. Done gained like 10 pounds. I'm like 180 right now. I'm healthy, about 170. Pictures you see in the thumbnails, that's me now. But you only see from here up because, got that belly I've been getting on. So anyway, I'm going to be adding more exercises on the 5th day. But like I've said, it's just basic stuff. And if you can't do burpees, jump squats is a tremendous alternative. You got a bad back or something, And jump squats, they're good. They'll build you, get you winded too. I'm also recovering. Was the sickest I'd ever been for 2 weeks. Y'all remember that? Deathly ill. My lungs are still recovering from that. I went from having what I would like to think is very good cardio to feeling winded getting up and going across the room. A lot of that's better, but I've got to build back. I've got to build it back right. And with me being so compromised, it's kind of good because, build up with me and I've got to start back from scratch. It sucks to get to a certain point and feel like you get knocked down. But it doesn't matter if you get knocked down, it's getting back up again. So with nutrition, the things, bread, stuff like that, it's more simple stuff, And if you're drinking alcohol, drink beer. Don't drink wine with sugars or Four Logos, stuff like that. That'll make you fatter than a bullfrog too. Anything with sugar in it. If you're drinking alcohol, just drink something that's got calories from the alcohol. The sugar in addition to it will absolutely put more weight on you than you ever could imagine. Energy drinks, stuff like that, it'll put it on you. I can't say that enough. Sugary drinks, stuff like that, bread, it's no good. And also, if you quit eating carbs after, 6, 7 p.m., that's tremendous too. Beer, alcohol is a carb. It's a carb. So that's something that if you're doing that, then, and you're not going to change that, then that's just how it is. But alternative to wine or something like that, you could switch to just drinking beer. I mean, it's just being straight up about it. That's just what it is. Because I know some people ain't going to quit drinking at night. It's just how it is. And, that's okay. You can still make it happen with that. I know some people that drink every night that are incredible athletes in incredible shape. And, but they have to work they have to work a little bit harder. But anyway, so get into it now. Gonna do the same stuff. So what was it? It was doing 10 squats. Only do 5 if you haven't done squats ever or in a very long time. Just do 5 because it'll build up off of that. Doing squats, if you do too many, you'll walk like you're Forrest Gump. I did that once. I spoke on that the other day. Do 10 push-ups, do 5 sit-ups, 5 leg raises. Like I said, this is an incredibly low number, but there's going to be another exercise added in addition to these 4 on the 5th day, and there's going to be another set added for each of these exercises on the 5th day. So it's going to end up being a lot, and I'd suggest putting a notebook in a place that's that you have to pass between the kitchen and whatever room you watch TV in. Put it on a table that's open that you have to walk by and see. Write down what you did, whatever you're capable of doing. You know, if you haven't worked out before, just do what I'm saying. If you have worked out, the 75% of these things is a good place to start. So anyway, yeah, broken foot, messed up shoulder. If I'm doing this, y'all can get it too. Y'all can do it too. So I wish somebody told me this stuff. You know, I had to learn the hard way. I had to do stupid stuff. I got laughed at in my face when I tried to work out in jail. And, you know, it didn't stop though, because I wasn't going to be stuck that way. You know, I got laughed at. I was the skinniest guy in there. Everybody's laughing at me. What are you working at for? Look at you, wasting your time. But I didn't quit. You know, that's the thing. So trying to give information that helped me. I'm not an expert on this, but I do know a little bit. So hopefully it's helpful. And ones that are doing this with me, I hope you enjoy this. In 4 months, you know, you really will be surprised. But anyway, rambled on long enough. And as I've said, got a messed up ankle, so that's why my heel comes off the ground in squat. Somebody mentioned something about that. It does, but that's how I have to do it. My ankle doesn't really bend. And now I've got a bone sticking out of the top of the foot in the same hurt ankle. But anyway. And try not to lean over forward. Try to just use more of your hips. You're going to lean forward a little bit. Kind of like you're sitting down in a chair. You're not going to have straight back and do it. It's pretty much impossible. But don't do, you know, that. Your butt's going down past your knees. So, that. I'd normally land in it, but my ankles give me problems. Okay. Now, push-ups, 10 of them. Now, sit-ups and leg raises. My feet are dirty, don't judge me. And burpees. See, I was doing so ridiculously many burpees, not even getting winded. Since this sickness, it's wiped me out. Feel myself breathing harder just after that. It's pitiful. But we'll work up together. God, I got fat. Anyway, that's day 3. Do more stuff tomorrow.